30 days, 100 sit-ups every single day. Starts today. 3,000 sit-ups. In our army test video, we had to do 2-minute max sit-ups, so they are going to be our day one stats showing on screen now. And here comes the before physiques.
Been pretty shit actually.
How's the man looking?
Man, it's been like 2-3 weeks, and I had gastro last week.
Here we go. So these are the before physiques of the 30-day sit-up challenge, and keep in mind, 0 dieting altercations through this. We're only doing sit-ups, no dieting whatsoever, just to keep it absolutely fair. We're also testing our 2-minute max sit-ups at the end of the 30 days to see if we improved in strength and stamina. Please. I think this is going to get a lot worse for me because, yeah, this is, you probably would have already seen the video now. This is the end of my transformation video, so this is probably going to be the leanest I'll be for a while. From here, calories going up and maybe a sneaky calorie challenge in there too, boys. So we'll see though, we'll see if we increase our max sit-ups and how we look after. Day one, may as well start now.
I'm not making excuses either, but 2-3 weeks, and I had gastro last week.
Here we go.
I'm pretty hungover.
Here we go.
Dehydrated.
It's always something, mate.
All the best.
You turn into me, Mr. Excuses.
Alright, let's go.
So the rules are super simple. You have to do 100 sit-ups every single day. You can either do these in one go or you can break them up through the day, however you like. As long as you get the 100 in through the day, you're good. Oh, cramp! Now the reason for trialing this is simply because over the last 8 years of being a personal trainer, one of the most common questions I always get asked is, how do I get abs? How many times per week should I be training abs? Should I train abs every day? Or Alex, I train abs all the time. How come I don't have a six-pack? So we thought, instead of just tell you, we're gonna show you the results.
Boys,
This is gonna suck, eh?
All I can say is, we're in for a long 30 days.
To make this test very fair and more relatable, we will just be eating fairly normal and around maintenance calories, not really tracking what we're consuming for the next 30 days, just to be sure that any results are strictly from the sit-ups and not from the diet. But why are abs so important to guys, and why is this such a common question amongst the fitness community and in general? Because it wasn't always this way. In fact, having abs in one day and age used to be considered ugly and showed a sign of poverty, whilst fat was attractive as a sign of wealth. Going down this rabbit hole led me to tons of different answers as to when abs started to become more popular and considered the ideal body type. But for me growing up, seeing your favorite action figures, TV shows and movie stars shredded with chiseled abs was enough for me to say, I want to look like that. So apart from looking good, do the abs actually have much use? The abs or abdominals can be split into 4 main muscle groups: the internal or external obliques, the transversus abdominis, and the rectus abdominis. You may also hear these muscles referred to as your core muscles, and that's basically because, simply put, they are needed to support your spine, correct your posture, and to support internal organs where there is no bone. So yeah, they're pretty important beyond just looks. Before we compare the results, how achievable is getting abs, and how come I have friends that get them easy and I struggle? You don't need to have physical abs to be strong, fit or healthy, so let's just make that super clear. But I know you want them, so the main things that come into play are your body fat levels and the size or development of your abs. Basically, if you have poor ab development, even at lower body fat levels, you won't be able to see them. You'll generally notice this on younger males or teenagers that are quite skinny and seem to have very little body fat, yet they don't seem to have chiseled abs. The second reason, usually being the most common one, you just have too much body fat covering your abs. The reason why this is more common in my opinion is because dieting and getting lean enough to see them is much harder, and it takes a lot more time and effort than training abs does. So to have an outstanding six-pack, you should focus on both lowering your body fat levels enough to see them and training your abs properly with progressive overload, just like you would any other muscle group. I think it's very important to note the second key here. I've personally skipped out on proper ab training a lot in the past, and it does hold me back. Take a look at some of the strongest athletes in the world. Even at higher body fat percentages, you can see their ab muscles pretty clearly because of how big and strong their abs are. Now you know why you can or can't see your abs. Let's see if the last 30 days or the last 3,000 sit-ups has made any difference. So we're gonna keep the sit-up test exactly the same as we did in the army fitness test we did just to keep everything even. So you got 2 minutes to do as many as you can. You can only rest at the top, so you can't rest at the bottom. Hands have to stay behind your head, and you obviously have to go all the way up as far as possible. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
2 minutes starting now. What do you have to do?
Bro,
many's
I'm
that?
getting cramps, man. Literally.
Go.
Oh, my quads.
As you can see in these before and after pictures, they look very, very similar, or in my case, they look slightly worse. The reason for that is simple: diet. On the left, I was consuming about 2,000 calories to about 2,400 max, and on the right, I was consuming probably around 2,800 to 3,200 in there somewhere, and not tracking very accurately at all. Even doing 100 sit-ups every single day, and as you can see with the boys' physiques as well, if you're not watching your diet, if you're not maintaining your calorie intake, and you're not physically getting leaner over the weeks and the months, it doesn't matter how much ab work you do. Not to mention, we were only doing 100 sit-ups every single day, so although that is a lot, there was no progression in terms of progressive overload, so we weren't doing more reps as the weeks went on, or we weren't adding weight to the sit-ups or anything like that. If you want your muscles, whether it's abs, biceps, chest, legs, whatever, to continue to grow, there has to be a form of progressive overload, whether that's more weight, more reps, it has to be something. Something to consider if your goal is to have a shredded, chiseled six-pack year round, just be prepared that this might be hard to maintain.
Yeah, I can account for that.
Facts. So why can this be much easier for others? Well, if you get someone that has crazy genetics, an active lifestyle, and maybe they don't have the biggest appetite in the world, those three things can be a very good combination to be shredded all the time. Genetics and your metabolism play a big role in this, but also where someone stores their body fat. Unfortunately for myself, as soon as I start to gain body fat, it goes straight to the lower abs, the hips, as you can probably see in this after video, and also a little bit into the lower back, whereas my arms and legs will stay relatively lean year round. If you get someone that stores more body fat in their arms or legs, let's say, then it might be easier for them to have a clear visible six-pack year round. So for you to reach that goal of chiseled six-pack abs, I think we clearly just learned that doing tons and tons of sit-ups every single day is not the only answer, and it isn't gonna work. Instead, focus on your nutrition and make sure you're in a calorie deficit so you can drop enough body fat to see those abs whilst also training your entire core with progressive overload. If you want a fully developed six-pack, I would make sure to incorporate at least one movement for stability, one movement focusing on crunching or pulling the abs down towards your hips, and one movement focusing on contracting from the lower abs up, aka a hanging knee raise, leg lowers, etc. And if you want to go an extra mile, maybe throw in a rotation movement or something more specific for the obliques. This could be a side plank, a Pallof press, something like that.
Alright guys, so challenge is over, and one thing I would definitely say for the pros was the results. You've seen it for yourselves. It was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But with the cons, most days after that I did feel pretty sore, like in the abdominal area, and yeah, probably wouldn't do it as long or as intense.
Positives were getting better at doing sit-ups. Negatives, it was a lot. Nah, just DOMs really. Like my legs just starting to hurt,
especially my adductors, and it was just in a lot of pain doing them regularly. So yeah,